Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. By now, you know that Tyron Smith pretty much is done for the season. We've been updating, been up since 6 a.m. this morning, getting to work here, finding out Tyron Smith last night in practice tore his hamstring to the point where it is going to need surgery. And if he is back, it would at soonest be in December. So the Dallas Cowboys literally have a major hole that they must address on this roster. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of great options. Right now, we are going through on possible free agents that are out there and that would be available. So far, I've done Eric Fisher, who seems to be the name that everybody knows and probably would be the best one available. I've done Jason Peters, who, of course, is 40 years old, has been an outstanding tackle, but again, is now 40 years old. And now we're going to go to Nate Solder. Nate Solder was actually a really good offensive lineman for the New England Patriots, drafted in 2013. 2011, and had been a standout offensive tackle. Became a free agent in 2017 after that season, and signed at one point was the highest paid offensive tackle with the New York Giants. But it appeared that his skills had eroded. The Giants ended up restructuring his contract last year, basically putting in a voidable year on his contract, in which case they released him. Nate Solder, the thing you can say that's good about Nate Solder is he did, for the last 5 years, play every single game, every snap. He played. It's just now his skills seem to have eroded. Let's talk about what was said about from the New York Giants. This is basically a recap of everything else. The New York Giants signed Nate Solder as a free agent in March 2018 to a 4-year, $62 million deal that included a signing bonus of $16 million. At that time, this contract made Solder the highest paid offensive lineman in the NFL. Over his 4-year tenure with the Giants, Solder provided a consistent presence starting 16 games in 2018, 2019, and 2021. But he opted out of 2020 because of COVID, so he did not play at all that season. So I guess in some regards you say, well, he only had the 1 year, of course, last year, and had a break before it, which, keeps a few of the miles off of him. And you can also look and say, well, the New York Giants were a bad team overall, and could it be that maybe he kind of checked out and was kind of, after being on New England and every year in the playoffs and challenging for Super Bowls, going to a team that is literally ass, you could understand a veteran looks at this and says, I'm sick of this shit. 21 recap. Solder was mostly available. He struggled to provide the consistent guarding the edge that he demonstrated in previous seasons with New England. But here's where it gets to be bad. Okay, yes, you're on a bad team. You are on a putrid team. We get this. But if you're on a putrid team, you can't be the worst guy statistically. He led the team in pressures. Now, understand he is the left tackle, which is where you're going to be facing the best edge rusher. But he gave up 36 pressures. Finished second with sacks allowed, with 6. Gave up 6 sacks. Tied for second in total hits. Quarterback was hit 7 times from his guy. In addition, his pass blocking efficiency rating for the year dropped to 96.1, below his average of 96.3. Looking at his skills, looking at his availability, his best ability is his availability, which is something we don't have right now. Is he more experienced than what we have on the roster? Certainly. He is definitely more experienced than what we have currently. But the reality is, might not be the best option. The thing about guys that are available right now, here's what you have to understand. There's a reason why they're available now. They've got some warts or some things that people look at and say, let's see if there's something else that's better right now. Eric Fisher played 7 great games last year for the Colts after coming back from an Achilles tendon tear. They had to ramp him up slowly to get him onto the field. He played great for 7 games, but then had a shoulder injury and a knee injury that kind of slowed him down going down the stretch, and is the reason why they didn't re-sign him. Price-wise, I think he was $8 million contract. We have Jason Peters, who last year was only $1.7 million for the Bears, played in 15 games. Still played pretty good. He's a big, wide body that can get in the way of people and things. And he's at the point of his career that he understands that I just want to be on a team with another chance to try and win another ring and be a guy who can teach the younger generation. I can be a role player, or I can be a spot duty guy, or whatever you need. I'm not sure if he would want to play for the Cowboys after being a Philadelphia Eagle player for all that time, but money and desire to still play can trump all of that. So you look at it from that standpoint and say, yeah, he's old. He's probably going to get beat. What kind of shape is he in, since he hasn't been in training camp or on a roster? He says he's been working out, but you don't know. Nate Solder appears that his abilities have eroded and may not be that great of an option right now. For the Cowboys, there are a couple of things that they can do in-house. I mean, Zach Martin doesn't want to be a tackle, but Zach Martin can play tackle. Unfortunately, when Zach Martin played tackle for us before, he got injured. We can say that the Tyler Smith era is beginning now, and we can put him in there and start getting him reps at least this last bit of time before the season starts. But he's been practicing exclusively at guard. And then that looks to me where you now have a weakness at guard as well. They can try and reshuffle the line and just say, we're going to get the best 5 guys playing, and we're going to put Zach Martin out there. We're going to have Tyler Smith, and we're going to have Connor McGovern. I don't have the answers, but we're trying to figure out what are going to be the best ones. We're going to continue to look at the possible free agents that are out there. Another possibility could be is the Cowboys, instead of taking one of these aging veterans that have an injury history, they decide we're going to make a trade for somebody. Ultimately, that may be the best move to get the best player, because ultimately, here's the problem. Here is the problem. Here is the bottom line to all of this. There's nobody to blame in here except for the Dallas Cowboys, because they knew there's no way that you can't know that Tyron Smith is becoming a liability. Tyron Smith has not played a full season since 2015. You have to bake into the equation that we must have a replacement ready to go that is an NFL quality starter on the offensive line to replace Tyron Smith. If it ends up being that you don't need him, hey, great. But you must have an insurance policy. This is like having a house with no insurance policy. If there's a fire, you lose everything. And the Cowboys did not put into the equation real thought. And this is, again, the biggest problem that the Dallas Cowboys have had, is they just don't plan, or, with Catboy being so cheap. And we have talked about this over and over and over again. I've said my biggest worry here for the Cowboys is the offensive line. We are razor thin and can't afford an injury. Well, the season hasn't even started, and we've lost Tyron Smith at minimum into December, but you might as well say we've lost Tyron Smith for the year. All right, next up will be Brian Blaga. I'm Mark Holmes, and, well, this is something I really did not want to do. I'll see you guys later.